Can I get a Lenny, no bacon, salt, pepper, ketchup?
So you'll...
Thanks, man.
Anytime. Have a great day.
You too. I find myself unexpectedly in New York. So I find myself in New York unexpectedly for some family issues, and the one good part is that I can get a real egg sandwich and a real bagel, which in North Carolina just doesn't exist. And so because I raced out of North Carolina to come up to Long Island, I forgot my external hard drive and my Apple Pencil. So editing is going to be tough, and I don't have all my elements. And so bear with me, as I don't think these will be like my normal videos, but I'm going to do my best to get content out anyway. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy some breakfast before I go do what I've got to do today. Should be good. The nice thing about having the van is that in an emergency like this, wherever I go, I've got a place to stay, which is really nice. But, and this is a great venue for paddling if, and I'll get back to that if in a minute. But the problem is there are not a lot of van lifers here, and so I stick out like a sore thumb. So today I want to talk about everything PFD, everything. How to fit one, how I choose one, what I use for me, what I use for students. I carry two with me in my bag. One is technically my wife's, but I do use it from time to time. They are both made by Astral, which is, what's it called now? It used to be Astral, then it was Astral Buoyancy. Because they make footwear now, I think it's Astral Designs. Astral was really founded by the guy that started Lotus Designs, which was a PFD manufacturer in the 90s, early 90s, I think. And he sold Lotus Designs to another company, to one of the big paddling conglomerates, had a non-compete. After his non-compete was over, he started his own company, which was Astral. And a lot of those design cues came back in the original, or from the original in the new form, which was very similar to what happened with Dana Design backpacks. It was very similar. So my go-to PFD is this, which is the Seawolf, which is the Class 3 version of the Class 5 green jacket, which really just means Class 5 is a rescue vest, Class 3 is a recreational vest. But the only thing this is missing is the toe belt, which I generally don't need. I used to use the Class 5, they're way more expensive. I realized I never used the toe belt. I have a long toe that is always on my boat when I have students with me, and then I also have a short toe that is always on my boat, whether I have students or not. And one of the nice things about the Delta, I'm not sure if the new Delta has this. One of the nice things about the Delta is there's a locking point, which you can also use to tow someone. So I like this a lot. I really like over-the-head PFDs. I don't like PFDs with zippers. Pull it to make it tight. Always start at the bottom up. And it should, some body movement is okay, but PFD should stay where it is, nice and tight. And one of the things I like about this is that the harder you pull on here, actually, yeah, the harder that you pull on here, actually, that's only on the Class 5. On the Class 5 version, the harder you pull right here, the tighter the whole thing wraps around your body. So you got to make sure a Class 3 is really tight. I generally tell people you have one shot to make it tight enough. Do the shoulder test. Does it stay? And if it doesn't, then I get to tighten it, and you may not be able to breathe. So this is nice. I really love the big pocket for teaching. In here, generally, I have, but don't have today, nose plugs, glasses strap, a pencil or a pen. I have a Tibetan good luck charm that I carry, an extra little carabiner, and then sunscreen when I'm working. So that is my my everyday PFD when I'm paddling, teaching, whatever. I also has a knife. You got to put a knife on. You got to put a knife on because you've got that attachment point, which looks like this. And I learned from a whitewater paddler to put a 1/8 inch bungee on it so that if you let go of it in the water, you don't lose it. You can find it, which is super nice. And you just wrap it around here. This is the NRS Copilot, which I'm actually, Copilot, which I really like. Whitewater paddlers use knives to cut people out of tangled throw ropes. I use it for cutting cheese and fruit and stuff like that. And it's got a bottle opener on the end, which is super nice. The next PFD I want to talk about is what I use for students. This is made by MTI. It is a Universal Plus, which means it fits everyone in theory, but really for the most part it does fit folks really well. It's great for teaching because I only need to carry one size PFD. It's got buckles, which are sometimes easier than zippers for some people. And sizing on PFDs can be tough. There are frequently like small, medium, medium, large, large, extra large, and then this is Universal Plus, so this fits everyone. It's about finding the size that works for you. So you got to try them on and do a fit that works well for you. So before I start with students, I loosen PFDs pretty far. It forces people to adjust them as opposed to just putting them on and saying, okay, that's good to go. And so I'll loosen all of them. Ignore that. I'll loosen all of them. And I now do what students do, which is put your arm through the wrong hole, and then buckle from the bottom up. This needs to be a little bit looser for me. Buckle from the bottom up. And so I've got straps across the bottom up, right? That's how often I do this. Frequently, I will have to tighten for students. And again, thumbs under shoulders. If it does that, it needs to be tighter. So a little bit of body movement is okay. Slides up your torso, it's too loose. So this is actually a fairly comfortable PFD. It feels a little strappy on the sides compared to mine. But for someone who's going paddling for 4 hours with me as a student, this is a good little PFD. I got one more to show you. The last one that I want to show you is also from Astral. This is the YTV. It is a very low profile PFD. Again, it's an over the head. It's a super minimalist PFD, and this is actually my wife's PFD that she uses when she stand-up paddle boards, but I use it on days sometimes when I'm not teaching and I want something that's just a little bit more low profile. So this is like, there's nothing to it. Just a really nice all-around PFD and like nothing going on, just super simple, a couple little pockets, very different than my everyday PFD. So sometimes I wear this, but still I really like that over the head fit is super nice. Super nice PFD, I really like this one. So the question is, why should you wear one? And it's super simple. One of the things that I say to people all the time is that there's not a lot of perceived risk in kayaking. It seems pretty straightforward. You get on flat water, it's not very windy, you get out in your boat, it's a hot day, you're gonna go in the water, why wear a PFD? And the reason is that when paddling goes bad, it goes very bad. When a hike goes bad, it gets really rainy or stormy or thunder and lightning, you're still walking on the ground. When paddling goes bad, you are in a water medium, which is not a human being's natural environment. And drowning is very easy. And so with experience, you learn to interpret the signals of risk and what is going on and what the dangers are. But as a new paddler, you don't have that experience yet. So I always paddle wearing a PFD, and you should too, because you don't know what's going to happen. I've had students say to me, you don't really wear one when you're not teaching, and the answer is yes, I wear one every time I paddle, and you should too. I wear a seatbelt when I drive a car, and would regardless of the law, because you don't know what's going to happen. So it's common sense, and really the upsetting part, the scary part, is that every year on the lakes of North Carolina where I paddle, someone dies, at least someone dies, and we're seeing more and more people dying every year. And honestly, it's getting worse, or will get worse, as we have an influx of new people to the outdoors because of COVID. So find a PFD that fits you. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is a PFD that fits you well. You'll look to spend between $100 and $180, which is not a ton of money. You can replace them every 6 or 7 years. When they start to fade, when the colors start to fade, it's time to replace a PFD. For most people, you're looking for a Class 3 PFD that offers 16 pounds of flotation. That's standard across the industry. If you're in the United States, it should be US Coast Guard approved. If you're in Canada, there is an Equal Canada body that discusses approvals. At first I was going to say it's Paddle Canada, but I don't think it is Paddle Canada. But if someone could, in the comments below, tell me the name of the approving body in Canada, I'm sure there is one. And that's what you should do, and you should wear a PFD every time you paddle. If this content's working for you, hit like, hit subscribe. It would help me out a lot. Again, I apologize. I'm going to have a slightly intermittent upload schedule for I don't know how long, maybe the next couple weeks, maybe a month or two, as I deal with some family stuff here in the Northeast. But I'm digging being back on Long Island. I wish I had some time to paddle. All right, I'll see you outside. They're not my favorite kind of kayak launches. This part of Long Island that I'm in is not great for kayaking. I mean, it's great for kayaking, but it's horrible for access. But it's kind of cool that they have these, and this is super cool.